Thank you for visiting West Coast Auto Enthusiast. Today we're featuring a 2016 Challenger. This is a Scatpack shaker package car. It's a 392 with a $10,000 Vortech Supercharger in it. It's only got 18,000 miles on it. It's a single owner, clean title, clean Carfax car. The modifications were all done at 16,600 miles, I think, so it's only got about 2,000 miles on the tune. I mean, it's got all kinds of modifications. So it's got the supercharger, it's got a bunch of components to make that work. It's also got G-force axles, which are 1,400 horsepower axles, just for what that's worth. Cosmetically, it's super clean. It is ridiculously fast. I'm going to try not to drive it, but that's not going well so far. It's over 700 horsepower. I think it's capable of 775. I mean, just so cosmetically, it's really, really clean. Tires are in really good shape. Wheels are in good shape. Doesn't need anything that we're aware of. Just a beautiful car. If you're not familiar with these, I've driven a bunch of performance cars. I think these are these and Mustangs are probably some of the more user-friendly. Although I'm not sure anybody needs 700 horsepower. Not sure anything good comes of that under any circumstances. I think 400 is about all that's necessary, but man, is this thing fun to drive. I mean, this thing, it's hard to explain fast. You really just have to experience it. Our mechanic was kind of poo-pooing it, and then he came back from the test drive and drove past the back of our shop with a huge grin on his face, and it's just like, yeah, that kind of sums it up. So, if you're not familiar with these, I mean, definitely a performance line. They come in all kinds of trims and packages. We love the shaker package. This is a Scatpack car. What's nice about this, if you're not aware of it, is this is basically a Hellcat, maybe a little Hellcat Plus, but you're not going to pay for Hellcat insurance. It's just a 392 as far as insurance goes, and so that's a big difference there. And there is a bunch of other components that have been added to this, internals and a bunch of tune stuff, and that's been itemized in the list. It's beyond my memory capacity at my age now, and so the details are in print for what that's worth. But when the mods were done, it was done, and they also added nav. This car did not have nav, so they did add nav after they tuned it at Dodge. So, push button start. Everything's pretty straightforward. You know, if you're familiar with these, so you have options here for performance. That changes your settings. You get Sport Pack, so then you've got launch mode, all kinds of ridiculous settings. You've got sport mode. So Sport Plus, blah, 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 blah. This is just your standard. I mean, everything in here is all standard Dodge stuff. So Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth, navigation. Again, navigation was not on this car. They added it afterwards. You have climate control. You do have heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. You have a bunch of apps, a bunch of media stuff. This is you have Dodge Performance control. So this gives you it tells you gauges. You can set up your performance, so you can put all this stuff in, set it up individually. So this is launch control. Then you also have a thing in here called gauges. So if you go to the performance pages, so this gives you all of your gauges if you're interested. There you go. So you've got timers. You've got gauges. You've got two sets of gauges. So you have temperature gauges, pressure gauges, G-force gauges. This might not work now that I'm indoors. I had it set up earlier. There we go. Let's just let it respond from reception. So that G-force, I mean, it's definitely complicated. This definitely is interesting, especially with the amount of horsepower and torque that this car is pushing out. This was an interesting thing. You certainly want to manage your or monitor your temperature stuff. You have a multi-function steering wheel, cruise here. You have a paddle shift, which is an upshift on the right. The paddle shift on the left is a downshift. Your onboard computer stuff, voice activation, Bluetooth, headlights, trunk release. I mean, you can see internally what you would expect. I mean, the car's really clean. Doesn't look like anybody's been in the back seat. The dash is clean. There is no sunroof, just for which is great, so you don't have body torque or twist. A little stiffer chassis without a sunroof if we're not familiar with those. So if there's anything else here, so media, satellite radio. I mean, it's all pretty standard stuff. So as you can see, 18,911 miles. So you've got about 2,400 miles on all the modifications, and they are. Let me. You can hear the supercharger, the blow off. It's definitely one of the most beastly cars I've driven. I've done a lot of. I've had some RS7s in here, some RS3s that were, you know, tuned, but I haven't driven anything that's this. I mean, it's just. It's hard to explain. I mean, it's just a monster of a car, and but it doesn't look that much different. That's what's nice. So it's just kind of a shaker package, Scatpack, that's going to eat almost anything on the road for lunch. So, anyways, single owner, clean title, clean Carfax, 18,000 miles, almost 19,000 miles. We can finance it through Cutto. We can put an extended warranty on it. We welcome trades. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us, and we can be contacted at 503-227-2354, and thank you for visiting West Coast Auto Enthusiast.